Welcome to Troweling Down, Biblical Archaeology for the 21st Century from the ARC, the Archaeological Research Center in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And this is one of our favorite places.
Yeah, this is my world. I love this. This is me right here.
Now, as an archaeologist...
I'm not as old as this stuff.
No, you're not even close.
But,
as an archaeologist, yeah, a real archaeologist has to love pottery.
Oh, you have to.
And this is your baby. This is your stuff. And this particular table, actually two tables here, this has been our setting for the last couple episodes. But on these tables, in fact, added to this just this last week, were all the pieces from our most recent season earlier in 2023. And so we've got it all. We think we've got all of it. There's some more. We said we'll check. But we think we got all of it right here. And explain to us again what this is.
Well, this is what we call palace ware. And there's so many different examples of it.
On the inside, that's so special.
And we call it multi-slipped, cross-wiped palace ware. You can see the different lines going in different direction and different colors of slip. Slip is like soupy clay that the potters make and just kind of brush it on or rag with a rag or something, brush it. Look at this. Look at this piece.
Now, this is on the outside of the vessel. On the outside, they made it nice. On the inside, it's just normal.
Because you can't see this. This is a closed vessel.
And so in this case, it was just the opposite.
Yeah, it's painted on the outside, but it's cross-wiped on the inside. I mean, this is an open vessel. It's a bowl, whereas this is a jar.
Yeah. So that's what we mean by this special palace ware, multi-slip, cross-wipe palace ware. And that's what we got here. And one of our students, actually two of them, two different dissertations are going to come on of this material.
Yes, and I would say that this kind of ware, we call it palace ware, but multi-slipped, cross-wiped palace ware is found at no other site that we know of in the entire Levant. And believe me, I've taken this stuff actually to all the excavators of the important Bronze Age sites around the region and said, have you ever seen anything like this? And they say, no. In fact, only one excavator, only one dig director sent me a picture of a vessel that has a single slip on it that kind of looks a little bit like what we have, but nothing like this stuff, this cross-wiping. And it's so diverse. It's just, sometimes it's swirly, sometimes it's dark colors, sometimes it's light colors. Sometimes on the same vessel you'll have white slip, yellow slip, tan slip, and dark brown slip, all on the same vessel. And it's pretty amazing stuff. It's only made for the Middle Bronze Age palace. In fact, not even the Middle Bronze I palace. The Middle Bronze II palace, the palace that was destroyed in the airburst destruction, that palace has this ware. So the king of Sodom had an idea in his head. Something like this, I think. I don't want any common-looking pottery in my house. Everything that comes into my living quarters, eating quarters, I want it to be fancy. I want the bottoms painted. I want anything visible on the vessel to be painted and with a design. So maybe he told his potters, bring me some examples. They say, well, we can do this, or we can do this, or we can do... Well, I like that one. I don't like that one. I like that one, and I like that one. So do that, or that, and it'll all be fine. Because we don't find this stuff, for the most part, unless it was kind of blown there. But we don't find this stuff outside the palace.
No.
It's just in the palace. But notice how it's broken. We rarely find, in fact, we don't ever find like a whole vessel kind of 100% there. It's always at least partially blown apart and strewn. And that's why over time, as we collect the pieces from various years and various squares of the excavation, we find enough pieces that are similar. And lo and behold, sometimes we can put a vessel partially together.
We have some over here. We'll do it at the end. Is this one... This is a pretty nice look at a number of pieces. 1, 2, 3. There's a dozen pieces put together here for this. Now this is like a footed bowl, a chalice, And this is what the inside looks like. And of course, it would have stood like this. And this is that cross-wipe, multi-slip cross-wipe palace ware that is so really unique with our palace.
But it originally comes in chunks, and we don't put it. We only could put it together because we could see how similar the ware was, and so it takes us years and years and years to find the pieces to put the stuff together.
So this is from our palace of the destruction of that airburst event. Now, this is the ark. This is where we keep all of our broken sherds, and occasionally we can put them together. That's probably a 60% reconstructed vessel. We often don't get beyond that, but occasionally we can. But usually we can get maybe up to half of a vessel together, or at least a good third or fourth of it. We can really see what the vessel's about. All these cases up here, all these bins are loaded with pottery from 16 seasons. And all of these bins now, we are going through them and organizing them by way of period and vessel type. So if you can read some of what's on there, like one of them says MB1 straight bowls, and then MB1, can't read it, whatever it is. So that we've got them all organized, and this is part of that organization. The next step will be analysis, putting them together, and then what does that tell us?
Yeah, if they can be put together, and we
Yes.
don't find too many that we can actually put together. And the ones that are complete or complete enough, they stay in Jordan, and they're stored in the proper
Department of Antiquities.
storage facilities there. But these are the bits and pieces that come season after season after season, and many of these, sometimes we get pieces of the same vessel found in 2 or 3 or 4 different excavation squares, and they're not even found in the same season. They're found years apart.
Yeah.
And so now, in this situation, we're putting all of those registered pieces in piles according to their color, their color scheme.
Yeah.
And it's like puzzles. You see, oh, this is very similar to that. Oh, they go together. Now, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes the pieces that we put together are totally discolored from fire, having landed in a different place, and gotten scorched in various ways because they're winding up after the destruction event in a different burning environment. So it's pretty cool stuff. I love the different kinds of vessels. Look at this beauty. Just a sherd, but you can see the multi-slipping and the cross-wiping and the multicolors. And this one is a really nice crater. It has this is an applique design with inside sort of a herringbone kind of a incisions like this, herringbone design. And then you see a rilled rim with 2 grooves going in the rim, and that's classic Middle Bronze Age 2 crater. But that's all we have.
And the inside was worked as well. They cleaned that one up also. So this was an open vessel that you would want the outside to look good, but you want the inside to look good as well. Now, so this is all our palace ware, but we got more stuff.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Now, these trays are all fragments, and we leave them out because as we look through the pottery from new seasons, like we still haven't looked at the 2023 pottery yet, but we will. I mean, we've read it. It's gone across the table a couple of times, and so, but we know that as that stuff comes across the table, Gary, I know this paint pattern.
You do.
I know this paint pattern. I know we have another piece or two of this vessel. And lo and behold, sometimes we can make those matches. But, so these are all sherds that are burnished. See that? Look at that. How beautiful and polished that is. Just get the glint of the light on that. So these are burnished or polished sherds. Here's some more pieces of just different vessels. And here's some. And here's painted ones. These are all actually painted. And so we put them on trays.
So
here's some more.
in this one, this is the natural color of the clay. This is the inside of the vessel. Then on the outside, they put a special color. This is just clay. It's just slip. It's not organic. And then they would actually go ahead and paint on top of this white slip, clay slip, and then this organic paint on top of that. And this is really special. And so we keep these special set aside because when we see anything looks like that, we know almost always they go to the same vessel.
And so you can see painted, more painted designs. And this is all just mostly Middle Bronze stuff. Now there's a little bit of early Bronze stuff mixed in here. But
so this is 3 pieces that were found different times, different places.
3 pieces, and there they are.
And there they fit in this one vessel.
And then we thought, oh, here's another piece of the same vessel. But no, it's
Slightly different.
actually a different vessel, different rim, different fabric, similar painting, but not the same vessel, even though they do come from the same period. So,
okay, so we say confession's good for the soul, right?
Yeah.
You know, it is. It is. So let's go to the other table.
Okay.
So there's 2 things that I'll feel better if I just go ahead and say to everybody. So I've been doing this archaeology stuff with Collins for a long time, and I know a lot and I've learned a lot, but I continually get challenged with new insights. And so we'll just start with this one. Yeah, right over here, this one. So one day I was working with these pieces of pottery for this vessel, and you can see that there are some that are white and some that have been blackened by fire. So I was dealing with all the white ones, putting them together, and I set the black ones aside and worked with those a little bit, but I couldn't quite get them all together. So Dr. C walks by and sees my pile of white ones and my pile of darkened ones, and he says, you know, that one there looks like it would go with that one there. And he just picks them up and sticks them together. So I felt pretty dumb.
Well, they don't look like they should go together.
They don't.
In fact, if you look at the outside, this is gray and darkened, sooted up. This one is perfectly normal, like it never saw a fire. And if you flip it over, same. These are untouched. These ones around it are completely scorched and burned. Why? Because this vessel, at a point in time, was exploded, landed in different areas, far apart from each other, and wound up being burned differently, and some landed in contexts that weren't burning at all, and there you go.
There it is. So all in the palace, and all these pieces came from different places in the palace, found during different seasons.
Yeah, I think the count on this vessel right now is at least 5 different squares across 20, 30 meters of the palace at different levels, found over about 8 years.
Yeah.
So a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit over here, and eventually
There's part of it there.
in fact, these
might even go
are
with it.
pieces of the same vessel, because we can make all the connections, and they were actually in the sorting of the middle of the
Palace
ware, the multi-slip cross-wipe palace ware, and they are, look at the multi-slipping and the cross-wiping, but they go to this vessel. This is actually the bottom, and so we actually made the joins, and I can't remember how they go together at this point, but they do, and so it took us about 8 years to get the pieces of this vessel from about 5 or 6 different squares identified as the same vessel.
So you saw these pieces, you see those, and that's the base, and then that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
So we've probably got 75, 80, 90% even of this vessel once we get all
Don't
the
have the
pieces
rim.
together.
I wish we
No,
had
we
the
don't
rim,
have the top.
but maybe we'll find it someday.
Okay, so that's one confession, just being honest, you know, learn something new every day. So this last week we had a bunch of students in, and they were working on organizing our stuff, and then one of them was putting together this vessel. And We just had a bag. I said, here's a bag.
We just had a bag of sherds that we didn't know if they went together or not.
So I said, you see what you can do with this. And she did a pretty good job. Angie from Tombstone. And she did a wonderful job putting this vessel together. And so the other day I heard Colin say, in fact, I hadn't even seen it when it's finished. Colin said, we've got almost everything but the base. And I thought to myself, there was a sherd, a base, that I put somewhere else because I didn't think it went to this vessel. So I was going to actually come back here myself and pull out that base and check it out, but I never got back here. So just before we started recording today, Collins picks it up and says, oh man, we got almost all of it. Just wish we had that base. So I walked over to the bin that I had placed it in a week ago, and we pulled it out, and sure enough, well, you fit it in there. You'll fit it in better than me. Sure enough, this is the base of that vessel. It shows up really good on this side better. Yep. So we will glue it in appropriately. And so I feel better now that I've admitted another one of my faux pas in my archaeological career. It won't be the last, but there'll be more to come. And I'll try to keep you updated so you'll know how it really goes. Well, anything else you want to say? We got to stop here.
Well, whose was this? I was looking at the S6GG. That's one of my squares.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
There it is.
There it is, and I've been able to finish it up for you.
All right.
Well, folks, we love this stuff, constantly learning and constantly loving to share the wonderful truth of biblical archaeology with anybody who wants to listen, and I guess that's you. So join us again, Traveling Down, Biblical Archaeology for the 21st Century. I'm Gary Byers. This is Steve Collins. Thanks for joining us.